Today I am at Lower Tawa Pond. Looks like I have the place to myself except some people walking through, so that'll be cool. Now I just need to decide where do I want to start. Did good over there, but there's a lot of birds over there and I'll let them have that spot for now. I think I'll start over here. Might break out the fly rod since the wind is down low, but since I have this power nymph still connected on here from the other day, I think I'll make a few casts with it just to see if it works in this pond. And then I think I will switch to the fly rod just to try it out. Oh, look at that, something just jumped nearby where the lure was. Due to the size, I'm guessing that was a sunfish. Don't really have anything planned for today, just kind of a fun fishing Friday. Since it's a little warmer, I'm gonna try to work this nearby the shoreline just to see if maybe that big bass that I know is in here, if it hits it. Water is very dingy. There's still some clarity enough to see, but I'm guessing it's probably about 2-foot visibility for us. I heard that at least for bass, I'm not sure on the trout side, I think bass can see about 4 to 5 times further than we can. So even though it looks muddy for us, they can still see. Plus they have their lateral line to feel the vibrations. I think I'll go over to the other side. If you hear any music, it's because we're next to a ballpark. If you haven't been to this pond before, it's not really bad as far as the loudness. It's far enough, but just in case you're hearing something, oh, that's sad. Got a dead duck. Well, I reported the dead bird to that animal control number that I had shared in prior videos. We'll see if they're able to take care of it or if maybe there's somebody else that does it, but just thought it's the right thing to do so that everyone's not just having to walk past this dead bird that may eventually start having a foul smell to it. That's a bad pun, not intended, but anyhow. Last time I was here, I had to find the fish using a spinnerbait. I like trying different things, so I'm not going to resort to that just yet. Oh, something tapped it. Could be a rock. There we go. That didn't take too long. Nice to know that this bait does work in different areas. It's not just a one-time thing. Just a little shy of 10 inches. There it is. First trout of the day. Caught on the power nymph, so liking that bait. It was pretty close by too. It was probably, I'm guessing maybe 20 feet from the shore, which is about where I caught it caught trout a month ago when I was using my fly rod. Unlike the fish over at Sullivan, that one hit very lightly. So I got a text message back very quickly. That wasn't even 5 minutes, and the guy that received the text message said that he will be coming by to pick up the bird and check for disease. So probably another good thing to have or to report these, so that if there is any disease outbreaks, that they're aware of it. I'll put the number in the video again if I remember. If not, I know that it's in one of my other videos where I mention about a sick bird. Last cast, and then we're gonna try to have fun with the fly rod, see if I remember what I'm doing. All right, actually, I'm going to do a quick cast, let it fall to the bottom, and then just do a slow retrieve back, see if I can catch something that way, or even just get a bite to see if they're down low. So that you know, what the guy also mentioned is that since it is dead for some reason, you shouldn't touch these dead animals unless you have gloves. I went ahead and just used my rod tip to push it up against the shoreline, so I didn't have to touch it. But they did say try to avoid it rather than being around it, and definitely don't touch it. So just sharing in the event you have a situation like this. My leader's a bit coily, so I'm going to change it out later. Let's see, what do we want to try now? That's it. We'll try one of these Gulp Minnows. I'm keeping the 1/64 ounce jig head on there and just adding this to it with a weighted bobber. So I'll have a little bit of distance from the bobber, and I get to see how well the Gulp Minnow is as a bait soaker. Starting at about 4 feet, might want to go down to 5. I think it's relatively deeper here. Since it's minnow shaped, I can actually move it at a relatively faster pace. But I think the jigging action will attract more fish. Okay, before we take this off, we're gonna try to lower it. This will be harder to cast, but I think that it will at least get deeper in there. And we'll let this one bait soak. Not really patient for this bait soaking, so we'll go to jigging. Let's see, how does this... So this hops on the bottom fairly fast, so I'll have to twitch it and retrieve it a little faster. This is more of what I would do with a trout magnet. Yeah, that's about right. There we go. So the jigging is the trick. And I got a 9-inch trout. And there it is. Now, one thing I like about this Gulp Minnow is it really stays on the hook. You've got to lose your hook to lose this thing. So I have to count down to about 16 for it to hit the bottom, from what I can tell. And then I'm just doing these little pulling twitches while I'm reeling in. And that's to just kind of hop it slowly on the bottom without touching the bottom. Yeah, this is how I would do almost any of the stick type baits. You could see it's just a little twitch, enough to get it off the bottom, and then and while reeling at a slow to medium pace. We'll try one or two more times at the bottom and then we'll raise it up. Some days the fish wants it moving, and some days they want it just perfectly still. Having at least one bait that does both, that you can use for either type, is always a good thing. There we go. Definitely dialed it in now. Another 9-incher. Looks pretty healthy other than that. Well, that fin's not too bad. It's not too worn. Bye-bye. And as you can see, this bait doesn't even slide down the hook. It just stays there. I might try my Tenkara rod with a streamer on there, a little small one. It just depends upon if they're really always on the bottom or if they'll come up. Try that out on this next cast. Try this side. I'm thinking it's shallower. Actually, it's deeper. So the way that I know is I let it drop all the way down and I'm just watching my line moving out. And if it keeps moving out, that means that the jig is still going down. And I'm just counting the seconds that it takes to go down. You don't have to count perfect seconds, and you don't have to count the same amount of speed as I do. But over there it was 16, it was about 12 here and 19 here. So based on that, I can already tell this is deeper, and then somewhere here is a little higher. It's the way to do it without any electronics. And that was 15, so it's already getting shallower in this area. Of course, once you know how many seconds it takes to hit the bottom, you could also count down just half of that to get to the middle and so forth. So it's kind of a nice little way of figuring out where you're fishing. And of course, each bait falls differently. So if I were to switch to a spinner bait, I'd have to change my count. Well, that changed. Let's see. Let's go back to a bobber. When the bite slows down, you got to switch to something. You either change the bait, the location, the speed. I didn't see what jumped over there. I don't see any birds coming up, so that might have been a fish. Okay, so something bit it over there, or it got shallow. So here's what we're going to do. We'll cast past it, and then work it quickly over there. Not enough to scare it, but enough to just get back into that area. There, something bit it. That was a definite bite because I could feel it. There. So it worked. go. Nice when things work out the way that you think it's supposed to. Doesn't happen always. Right at 10. So, big fish for the day. Nice looking trout, nice set of fins. This one's in good shape. Bye-bye. Make sure it swims off. So that was just about where that other bobber is, right there. Let's see if there's a school of them. If I just got lucky or not. So again, I'm casting past it. And then I'm going to reel close to that bobber. Kind of like a marker buoy that the old school bass fishermen would use in the boat. That's what I'm using that float as a target so that I know where to cast, where to reel it into. Might have been just that one, or that one scared the others. Well, my bet is it was only one, and I caught him. But it looks like they're close, so I'm going to try casting about the same distance out on this side and just kind of work about the same distance from the shore. Saw that fish over there. So somebody's actively hunting. That's either the trout or the fish that it was trying to chase. So I just finished talking with, oh, and there I caught a fish. I'll go back to what I was saying later. Oh, there it is. Bye-bye. Oh, look at that. I can almost catch it with my net. That's pretty cool. Well, I'm going to count that as being caught, but it wasn't. Anyhow, as I was saying, I was talking with Lauren from Utah's Department of Wildlife and Resources, and that ends up being the number that I call, or in this case I texted, about the dead bird in the water. And so I'll post the information in my description, but I got the information as far as what hours they work. It is 7 days a week, but it's really only from 7 in the morning to 11 at night, which is still quite a good range of time. I doubt that most people in these ponds will be up at that time or thinking about reporting anything. There it is. Same spot. Let's see if I can catch this one actually. Eight inches. All right. Fish over here are quite healthy. I don't see too many where they have their front fins rubbed off from being in the fish farm, so I'm not sure if they're just lucky or why that's the case. So that's 2 out of that one spot, so we're going to try again. But as I was saying, the number, contact number that I have, they're available from 7 to 11, and they address these type of issues, birds and whatnot, that are reported in the Washington area. I did ask if it's a legitimate number to share, and Lauren said yes, so feel free to pass it on to your friends. Just make them aware that it's really 7 to 11 and in Washington County. Again, I'm not casting too far out. I'm probably casting, I'm guessing 30 feet out from the bank, that is, not from where I am to the bobber. And that's because so far, that seems to be where all of the fish are. is within this distance. There we go. That must be a lucky bobber, the one that's in the water, because this was nearby it again. Here we go. That looks a little over 10 inches. Nice trout. Now see, this is one of the ones that has the fin worn off. Still pretty healthy as far as the rest of it. I'm going to try the Tenkara rod now. So I got a little later, and there's more and more people showing up for the ballpark. It's going to get quite busy, I suspect, on the road, so I might be heading out in a little bit. In the meantime, if you are looking for a relatively quiet place to go fishing, Lower Tawa is really good for that. It doesn't have as bad of road noise going back and forth on that edge, and really it's going to have more traffic as if you're fishing closer to the weekend. In this case, I'm fishing Friday, so they have games going on. But outside of that, it's actually a nice, calm, peaceful park. I looked at going to Upper Tawa, and I just don't like being right up next to the road all the time and getting all of that loud road noise over there. So it's a nice clean park in general, at least from what I've seen. So if you're looking for a place to catch some trout, this is a good spot. If you have some challenges about getting around, I've seen people fishing along that bank and along there. I've even seen some guys in wheelchairs fishing along that side where that sidewalk is. So it does have some amenities from that perspective, but it doesn't have trash cans. And of course, you know that's a pet peeve of mine. So hopefully one day they'll eventually get some trash cans out here so that people don't just dump their stuff on the grass. Till next time, tight lines. Right at 9 inches. Looks a little smaller than that, but bye-bye. And I broke off. I think it's time to change out this line. After breaking off, I just need to catch one more fish, and I'm going to try it on the fish fry, the 1-inch version.
I was on my lap when I stood up. Yeah. Fucking awesome short. He snaps off the rock. Bam. Dies, blunt force trauma to the head.
There we go. Right next to shore. There we go, 9.5 inches. Nice looking trout. I'm gonna call it a day.